Hello, welcome. My name is Alyssa. This is my channel of New Direction, and thank you for being here today. This is a reading for the new moon in Sagittarius, which is taking place November 14th. And it is another eclipse. So I'm going to just kind of like break it down what the new moon is all about here in kind of like the most simplistic form so that we don't get confused and lost, because I am not an astrologer. I really love astrology. But it is a very confusing thing. It's kind of hard to follow. So I just kind of wanted to break down what this new moon is about, and I feel like once you kind of have like an understanding of like, okay, this is what the energy of this new moon is about, then you can understand or take the message more so and reflect it into your life with the energies that are happening in the universe, right? All right, so this new moon is a new moon in Sagittarius. The sun sign changes, every month. The zodiac, the sun moves into a new zodiac sign. So the sun moved into the sign of Sagittarius, November the 22nd. And when it moved into Sagittarius, the new moon followed it within a couple hours, okay? Also within the sign of Sagittarius this month is the planet Venus. So we're going to get into that a little bit too, but as I said, I'm trying to keep this simple. So this new moon, moons have cycles, right? You have the full moon, you have the waning moon, waxing moon, quarter moon, and the new moon, right? And as they go in cycles, it's all about, the completion of each kind of moon cycle every month, right? The new moons are about new beginnings, right? New cycles beginning. The full moon is about endings. And then you have the decimating moon, which is after the full moon. And that's kind of that breathe out space, that kind of like, and then, the ball gets rolling again and the new moon comes up and a new cycle begins. So just like the sun moves into the new sign, the zodiac, the new moon moves into the same zodiac sign every month. So this month is the new moon in Sagittarius. And that Sagittarian energy is a very mutable, it's a mutable sign. And so that means that it shakes loose one energy to prepare for the next, okay? Like that Sagittarian energy, the sign of Sagittarius is in between two seasons, okay? It's no longer fall, but it's not quite yet winter. Kind of like how the Sagittarius is represented by a centurion, right? Part horse, part archer. You see, it's neither one nor the next. And that is really that energy of this new moon in Sagittarius. It's about really like that stamina kind of the horse and yet the focus of the archer. I often say that the energy of a Sagittarius is like excited and more excited, right? So anyway, it's this energy. This new moon is kind of like where we're in between, like where we've come from and where we're going to. It's about that shaking up the one energy from where we've been, allowing it to be, and opening ourselves to move into this next phase. So as I was saying, Venus is also in the sign of Sagittarius. So this again intensifies. Venus is about our relationships, partnering, intimacy, right? And so with Venus being in this Sagittarius sign, along with the new moon and the sun, there's just that much more intensity. And the eclipse energy of this, guys, it is just so powerful, so powerful. This new moon also, when it happens, makes a square. And I'm not going to get into astrologically what that means. I mean, you can imagine, if you took a telescope and it makes a square, but it makes a square with the Chiron, which is the wounded healer. It is the planet of the wounded healer. So as it does this, as this new moon energy, the Sagittarian energy is working itself up from healing of the past to moving into the end, it squares off with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And this is where, it opens the pathway. It's that energy of opening the pathway to address those wounds. Because like this centurion, we are neither this nor that, right? We're in this healing stage. And that is very much what this energy here of this new moon is. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. I hope that was a fairly simplistic explanation of this new moon energy, right? We are just in this phase of we're not quite one and we're not quite the next. We haven't quite moved from the fall and we're not quite in the winter. right? We're one of the same. And I love that. I love the centurion because it's like that, as I was saying, it's like that stamina of the horse, like that momentum of the horse, and yet that focus of the archer, you know, that determination, that like straightforward, like this is where I'm going, like pulling back the arrow, right? All right, let's get into this reading. So we're going to start here with just pulling some oracle cards before we start. We're going to pull 3 different oracle cards. And what we're asking here is what the archer really wants us each to know. You know, what our own archers want us to know about the energy of this new moon here. What do our archers spirit want us to know about the energy of this new moon? What do the archers want us to know about the energy of this new moon? This one wants to come out. Give with gratitude and grace, the turkey spirit. And the sandpiper is on the bottom there. Be playful. What does our archer want us to know here, spirit? What does our archer want us to know about the energy of this new moon? What does our archer here want us to know, spirit, about the energy of this new moon? What is this? A win-win outcast. A win-win outcome is forecast. The full moon in Libra. Isn't that interesting too? Especially with Venus being in Sagittarius, right? Because Venus is the ruler of Libra here. What does our archer want us to know? Wow. 3. The Shalom Master, be graceful in movement and action. Lord, take charge and authority. And Mother Earth, feel loved and comforted. Wow, these are some pretty intense energies for this new moon. You know, the turkey spirit here is give with gratitude and grace. You know, and this is about feeling grateful for all that we have. You know, and acknowledging, I think, even, you know, kind of like we were talking about here, coming from the fall and going into the future, right? Being thankful for all that we have harvested within, you know, even within this year. You know, 2020 has been such a big, beautiful, powerful year of self-growth. And yes, it's had its challenges. And yes, it's been a work in process. But it's about being grateful for what has come from that. About being grateful for the growth that has come from that, you know, and being gracious in how you spread that kind of energy out among your life now. You know, a win-win outcome is forecast here. And this is going to apply differently in everybody's situation, but this is about having the faith and acknowledging that what is to come will best serve your highest. You know, when you align yourself to your intuition, when you open yourself up to the journey, to the gratitude, to the grace that the universe, that the higher is presenting you, you will therefore, your outcome is going to be a balanced outcome as you allow the divine to really take control of what is to come. All that is to come, you know, when you open your heart up like that and say, okay, universe, I am yours, give me what is mine, or, you know, align to my life what is mine. It is going to be a win-win. Be graceful in movement and action. And isn't that interesting that grace has come out even in a couple of these words? And I feel that grace is just that energy of peace within inside of self. And, you know, grace is just that being like at peace, you know, for where you are. Be graceful in movement and action, you know, and this is about practicing discipline as well, you know, acknowledging, I feel that, and that's not about being, you know, a mighty warrior, but being disciplined within the actions of self. Take charge with authority, right? And especially when we're talking, again, that's, you know, I almost feel like this is the discipline of action, you know, and catching yourself where maybe you have made mistakes in the past, where you have allowed yourself to be sucked into maybe some toxic traits in the past. This is taking charge. This is taking charge of the discipline needed within your life, taking charge of the movement and the grace and how you apply that throughout your life. Feel loved and comforted, Mother Earth. And she looks very much like the Empress here, you know, with that beautiful womb. But this is the energy of acknowledging that, you know, feel loved and comfort in what is to come. and allowing the universe to bring in the grace that is yours. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's see. Let's break this energy down of the new moon to emotional, spiritual, and physical. One more shuffle here. What is the emotional energy of this new moon, Spirit? The third chakra. What is the spiritual energy here? What is the spiritual energy of this new moon? A woman holding a coin in reverse. And what is the physical energy here of the new moon here, Spirit? What is the physical energy of the new moon in Sagittarius? We have the 7th chakra upright and envy in reverse. Wow. Community is at the bottom of the deck with the 5th chakra in reverse and the 2nd chakra behind that. Contract in reverse. Anxiety. A thinking woman upright. Wow. You know, for some, this is going to be very much where you're connecting to your people. You're connecting even to your tribe. You're connecting to those around you, to the souls, to the connections around you that are going to build you up. And I feel like maybe for some of you, there is going to be a struggle and an imbalance within your communication, even maybe within how you are telling those people, those communities, what your passion is, what sparks you, what that fire purpose is inside of you. The emotional energy here that came out, this was beautiful, was the 3rd chakra. And isn't that such a beautiful energy to have? Because this is the energy of being solid within your own being. You know, that orb within inside of this archangel. Like this is the energy of being whole within self. You know, our solar plexus is our, like, it's our light. Okay, that's our inner light. I think we're going to pull clarifiers, actually. I think we'll pull tarot for all of these as well. Look at this, though. The spiritual energy here was a woman holding a coin in reverse. This is divine feminine energy and feeling a lack of worth here. And then the physical energy was the 7th chakra, which is a connection to the divine, and envy in reverse. And I feel like this very much is that physical, tangible energy of having the faith and no longer feeling that what you have is not going to fulfill you. This envy in reverse is where you're not envious. Maybe there has been the energy of envy in the past, but this is being so stinking solid in your connection to the divine that you are not envious of anything that you do not have, because you are in this place of gratitude and grace. All right, let us pull some tarot. We're going to use the good tarot today. To clarify these. Let me clarify this emotional energy here, the 3rd chakra. Why this 3rd chakra? Patience, the temperance. Why this 3rd chakra? The Page of Swords, the 9 of Wands. And what are you? And the World. Wow. Yes, you see this emotional energy here, this energy of the heart, you know, and this is emotionally, this is where you're connecting to that being that you are, to that authentic kind of self. You know, this is emotionally where you are beginning to feel so fulfilled. And the Temperance and the Page of Swords came out here because this is a new way forward. You know, this is the pause. The Temperance is the pause. It's the balance of balancing the action, of balancing the water, the inner knowing and the actions of our lives. You know, and it's the patience because it's about taking the time to do the work. You see, this Page of Swords is that energy of going forward, learning something new, but not quite yet. Like, it's kind of like the beginning stages, right? Pages are all about beginning stages, but this Page of Swords is that like beginning process of thinking, of really truly understanding this emotional authenticity and that connection to the emotional authenticity. You know, it takes such a warrior to be honest and vulnerable with the emotional being that you are. right? Like, it's not about going out and like just spilling our hearts to, to any random, but it is about going forward in the actions of our lives with the authentic emotion of who we are, right? Like making sure that our action steps match what our heart is actually calling us to do. That's the soul-led journey that I talk about quite often. You see, in the Nine of Wands was after this, because there has been cycles, hard cycles that have happened with the world behind that have been completed. In order to emotionally come to this place of being authentically full within inside of self, you don't get to that point without overcoming some hardships, without really working your way through the darkness, right? And this, I really feel with this new moon energy, is that pause phase where you're connecting, you're not quite to that next phase, like that centurion, right? You're not full archer and you're not full horse, because you're one of the same, right? You're in this movement stage here of completing the cycles that you have come through, those hard cycles, those emotional, tough cycles that you have learned and really had to go through to understand that authentic being within inside you. But those cycles are done. That's the world. That energy has been completed. Those cycles of hardship are over. You have learned the lessons. Now go forward with that graceful movement and action as this being of authenticity, right? That soul-led journey. Wow. Let's see what this woman holding a coin in reverse for spiritual. Why is this woman holding a coin in reverse, Spirit? Why is it this energy? The Two of Swords, absolutely, because there's been blockages, right? And for some, that can be, just where we haven't allowed, oh my gosh, Two of Swords, the Devil, and the Queen of Swords. It's very interesting because in quite a few of the readings that I have watched, among other readers, this Queen of Swords keeps coming out a lot. Very much so. This energy, the spiritual energy here, see, and this is a lack of feeling, this is the energy of not having the worth within the divine self, the divine feminine self. And you don't have to be a feminine to even apply that to your life, right? Like, this is about listening to the intuition side and really doubting it. Like, almost, that spiritual connection, that's your intuition. That's what guides you. And when it's a woman holding a coin, that's talking about your worth. That's talking about how even you see that divine feminine side of self, that worth of the divine feminine side of self. If you are constantly, this energy is not having the faith in that divine feminine self, not listening to that inner intuition voice that is guiding you. This is thinking that, oh, whatever that divine feminine within myself is, she is unworthy. She is unworthy of what spiritually you are wanting to bring in, what you're hoping and desiring. It's about dreaming and wanting and praying for those things in life, but you must see yourself worthy of accepting them, right? And I feel like that's almost the energy here that's been blocked. It's a very low vibration, toxic energy. The Two of Swords is about a blockage. And if we are unable to see that we are worthy of the changes and the movement and the grace and the gratitude given in our lives, we will continue to be attached to negative, toxic energies. We will continue to repeat those negative, toxic energies within our lives. And the Queen of Swords is here because this is the clarity that must come from this. Isn't that a beautiful energy? This is that energy of the Queen of Swords can cut shit out. Okay? She is so, look at that owl sitting on her shoulder. Yes, she at times can have the energy of being hard, and that is not, we're not talking about being cold here, but we're talking about being decisive, acknowledging within our own beings where we have continued to not allow the worthiness of self to come forward, where we have blocked that within ourselves. That's kind of like this communication in reverse on the bottom of the deck here, where we have continued to speak negativity to ourselves, to our own worth, to that intuitive voice. When that intuition is guiding us to do something, and instead of following it, we talk it down, we shame it. Well, that's pretty fucking toxic, if you ask me. Your inner voice is guiding you. Do not shame that inner voice for guiding you here, because that is what is needed. You've blocked yourself. The energy here is that you've blocked that intuitive voice for too long. Now be crystal clear on the fact that you are releasing yourself from that shit, right? You are releasing yourself from your negative talk. from your lack of worthiness. That's a beautiful place to be in. All right, in this physical energy here, why the 7th chakra? Why the 7th chakra here? Page of water, because there's a new emotional fulfillment coming in. There's a new opportunity here. That's why this connection to the divine is so important with the King of Cups behind it. Yep. Because as much as this Queen of Swords is out and cutting the negativity out of your life, what is coming in is the emotional fulfillment. It's the depth to the emotion here. You know, as you allow yourself to find the worthiness within the divine, you are wonderfully and uniquely created. You can't tell yourself that you are anything but worthy because there is only one of you. You were created the way that you were meant to be. So don't fool yourself. Stop telling yourself those lies. You were divinely made, my love. Divinely made. And I feel that this connection here to this 7th chakra is because this is the energy of you truly beginning to feel that connection, feel that depth in so many physical ways. This isn't something, you know, it is something that you'll feel on an emotional level, but it's something that within your life you will begin to show up differently because there is a love for self that shifts. Within this whole new moon, there is a love for self that shifts. And that begins this new phase. The new phase of worthiness that you are so ready for. All right, why the envy in reverse? Spirit, why the envy in reverse? That is... Oh, wow. High Priestess, the 10 of Cups, the Tower, the Lovers, and the Death. Oh, wow, of course. You know, and this is the energy. Look at that. There's no longer envy. There's no longer wishing for what is not yours. This is about appreciating what is. And the reason that appreciation within your physical form can come in is because you are connecting here to the High Priestess. You can see beyond just the 3D here. You allow yourself to sit with spirit and to hear the message of your inner knowing. And emotionally, that begins to fill the cups for you and all of those around you. Because you can see the fulfillment that is here. You know, it's almost as though your energy has been so focused on the lacking that you have not been able to see what is at your fingertips. And what is at your fingertips is emotional happiness. The Tower and the Lovers were after that because there is a crumbling here. And whether for some of you it's going to be walking away from certain relationships, it really is. Because those certain relationships like 2020, especially with Venus being in this Sagittarian energy too, there has to be the shift from the wounded to the healed. And within that, whether or not relationships are coming apart or whether or not cycles within relationships are just crumbling, this is the energy that must take place because you have to allow that Tower moment to fall because you are no longer in the fall, right? But you are not quite yet in the winter. So this energy must fall. The Tower must come down so that you can embrace the newness of what is to come. So you can embrace this kind of karmic, fulfilling, true kind of love. You know, and that goes beyond just romantic connections. It really does. You know, and it's not necessarily even talking, as I said, it's not talking about relationships necessarily coming down, but it is definitely talking about the structures of the old, the wounded structures that aren't going to serve you here. And it's that faith in the divine here. It's that faith in what you have is fulfilling for you. It's what you need. It's that win-win, right? It's that win-win. Transformation. Look at that. That was the last card here, and that's the Death card. And that is because something here must finish, my friends. 2020 has been this year of great change, and as we go forward from it, we must just release what needs to be released. Allow the wounds of our past to heal so we can embrace 2021 as new beings. Allow this new moon cycle to really just be another stepping stone, right? Into this next shifting phase, into this next growing phase. All right. What could be challenging? Let's see. What could be challenging with these energies here? What could be challenging us with these energies in the new moon? What could be challenging us? The 10 of Wands. You know, absolutely, because this is where cycles have to be completed. This is where we actually just have to finish out what needs to be done. We need to cross the T's and we need to dot the I's. You know, and that is a challenge. It is challenging to complete cycles. It is challenging to move from one phase to the next, you know? to complete and just finish what we know to be finished. The Six of Swords. And one more. That's, you know, and it's funny because that Six of Swords to me almost is very much a Sagittarian energy, because it is, you know, it's that moving from, you're not in point A to point B, like it's that in-between phase, right? One more for this challenging energy. The Hermit and the Moon. The challenging energy here is completing what needs to be completed and acknowledging the movement and the transformation that is going to need to take place to move you from the point of where you have been to the future and where you are wanting to go, right? You're not in one place or the other. But it is about, the challenge here is about that movement. It's about completing those cycles. It's about letting go what needs to be let go. Releasing the burdens and having faith that this movement that is before you, even if it is challenging, even if the waters are rough, it is moving you. The Hermit was behind that, and that is about centering in on the inner light. You know, if the world and the waters are getting noisy, then just focus in on that inner light and connect yourself here to a divine, to the faith, to the moon, right? Don't be afraid of the shadows. Don't be afraid of what you cannot see. Because as much as the shadow energy of the moon is about the fears and the unknown and the lurking, the light of the moon is about spirit never leaving you. You are never alone. So though this burden, though these challenges, though this process of letting go what needs to be let go and moving yourself forward, it's hard. It's challenging. It's probably even at times maybe lonely. But when it feels lonely, this is where you need to connect to the divine and know you are not alone. Know that you are truly never alone. Embracing that light within inside of self. You know, that Hermit energy, you know, behind these closed doors is a person who is illuminating the light within inside of themselves. Because that is what this energy of the Hermit is asking you to do. Take the time. Complete the cycles that need to be done. Put down the burdens that are weighing you down. And then take the time to just rejuvenate that light within inside of self. Beautiful. How to prevail. How to shift. How to prevail. How do we prevail? How do we shift this energy, Spirit? Eight of Cups. We just got to let go. You got to let go of the heartaches. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. Wow. Okay. And the King of Air. Wow. You need to let go what is broken and what is shattered and what is no longer there, so that you can embrace the emotional fulfillment of self. Because the cups here, this Eight of Cups here, this is talking about emotional pains that are just holding you back, right? Things that are weighing you down. And the energy here of the Eight of Cups is releasing those burdens and walking towards the light. And then with the Nine of Cups right behind that, to embrace that fulfillment of self. The emotional happiness that is here when you embrace the blessings that are all around you. When you embrace that connection here to the divine. It's about being crystal clear. Knowing and being so stinking solid in the healing that you have done, in the processes that you have been through. It's about being clear on emotionally what you are worthy of in life. Right? What a beautiful message today, guys. All right. To finish this off, we are going to get a moon card here. We're going to get one for the divine masculine energy, and then we're going to get one for the divine feminine energy as well. Let's get 3 moon cards for the divine masculine. Just 3 moon cards for the divine masculine energy here. 3 moon cards here, Spirit, for divine masculine energy. Show the world the real you. Be bold and make the first move. These two wanted to come too. A fiery climax approaches and your hard work is paying off. You know, and when I'm talking about divine masculine energy, I say this all the time, but make sure that you do reflect that back into your own life. You know, and that divine masculine energy is our passion. It's our drive. It's the action within our life. But here, you're being asked to show the world the real you. The full moon in Aquarius. Be bold and make the first move. The cardinal moon. A fiery climax approaches. The full moon in Aries. And your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. And for the divine feminine energy here. The divine feminine energy for the new moon. Your dreams need a practical plan. The full moon in Taurus. Surrender to the divine. The full moon. And emotions are running high. The super moon. Wow. Well, my friends, that was just another unbelievably beautiful reading. Oh, wow. I think I'm going to be doing an extended, actually. So for those of you who are in my Your New Directions community, which is a Facebook group, it is a private group, but I will put that link for that group in the description box below. And there, I post the extendeds there. I post the unlisted extendeds there. It's just kind of for like that little community. And I think I am going to do an extended here. I just really love this new moon energy. So I would love to look more into the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy of that. All right, guys. Well, until next time, if you did like this video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber, be sure to hit that little bell so that you can get all the notifications. Until next time, take great care of your souls. Bye now.